Hello, everybody. How you doing? Hey, Truth Feels, good to see you, Blake. Geezer. Hey, Junior. Hey, Junior. Thanks for the that tip on a certain bluesy. Hey, Joseph. Ah, okay. Let's see what everybody's up to. Hi, Donald. What's up, huh? Mike. Hey, Rick. Javier. Oh boy. Um, Let me ask you, is the sound and the video okay? I just want to check on that if there's a possible any kind of problem. Good, thanks, Geezer. Um, Great, great to hear. Uh, what I wanted to this is sort of a continuation of what we were talking about this morning, and that is high time, essence of time, Mr. Gumby. What we were talking about was the spotting a watch uh, before it becomes real expensive and really famous. And I was looking at we had talked about mentioning Kadoki, and I think Kadoki's watch with his own movement was around, I think around 6,000 or something. And I noticed today it's almost up to 9. It's very popular. The place I checked it out was they were both out of them. But that's the kind of stuff that I think is the kind of thing to keep an eye on. Hey, howdy from Texas. How you doing? In Wesley. Um, it's Hey Gary. It's it's something. So what I thought, well, I'm going to take a look at my watches and see which ones have gone up significantly. And the ones that have gone up, they weren't selected for an investment purposes. Had they been, oh boy, I think I'd be in very good shape. But they weren't. They were simply selected in terms of their features. Now, these are two FP Journes that I got. And both of them had something neat about them. The Chronomet Souverain has what's it called? And I think this is in the blue and all the other Chronomets, the hand wound ones. And that is the parallel dual barrels. And that was a neat thing. And the other one was a resonance, and I was simply fascinated by resonance and how they worked and so forth. And was doing a bunch of experiments with pendulums and so forth. Well, that thing went crazy high. I mean, it just went nuts. And this was like dumb luck. But the thing I was looking at was the quality of the watch and not its potential for becoming a get rich quick thing. And I think maybe that it would be the key, is that the more we find these watches with certain kinds of Marco Lang, so these kinds of things. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Rick, you're right. I mean, they've gone way up. I mean, I think the blue was 3 times what they were when I bought one. And in fact, it may be about 3 times, for 3 times what you can get them for when they're available directly from FP Journe. But that happens. But that's not. I sort of wonder, where do you find some really good watches? One of the watches that I like a lot is the Hebdo Madari. That's is one of the first movements that was made by Michel Parmigiani. And those watches, I've been looking at them, and they were a real deal. But I've noticed that they're starting to go up in price. Not these great leaps, but they're moving up. And so there's something to that. On the other hand, some of the really great H. Mosers, some of the early ones. Now, the thing I like about the early ones, it was sort of like there were two modern stages for H. Moser that I can see. One was after sort of they took it away from, or they bought it from, or something. It went back into, to some extent, the Moser family. They had the great great grandson or something was involved, but he was more of a figurehead because he really wasn't a watchmaker. But there was a guy there who was involved at the time, and they made these really really good movements. And the center seconds and the small seconds endeavors are two examples, plus the double hairspring. Well, I got the double hairspring, and I love that watch. It's a great watch. It's a very interesting technology, and they disappeared. There's some around, and they've been sneaking up, especially from what I paid for it. Same thing with the center seconds and the small seconds on the endeavors, the two endeavors. The old that's they were called Mayu and something else at one time, and I've noticed that they sort of went way down, and they hit a bounce point. But see, they have really excellent technology, and the so that by itself doesn't always make a watch become rare. Well, because there's not a huge number of people who are after them, but I think that's beginning to change. And I see, because I don't think you can get a bad watch if if you if you get one that's is good in terms of horology and so forth. Yeah, Blake. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so suddenly a sale that I think it was that Phillips sale. Hey, Mark, I'm sorry about the video. Uh, I don't know why it's acting goofy right now, but there you have it. Hi, Henrik. How you doing? How are things in Copenhagen? Okay. They have this wonderful clock in Copenhagen. My wife and I went to see it a few years ago when we were there. I don't think the FPGA experience will ever be replicated for many reasons. I don't know whether it will or not. I mean, um, you have a company that really came into being in 1999. That's what, 20 years ago. And now the reputation is like on par with Abraham Louis Breguet, who was very much admired by. So I don't know. Okay, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it is important though that if we look at the quality of the watch, that quality will tell in the long run. I know that if Rolexes started falling apart as soon as you buy one, they wouldn't do too well. All right, but there are a lot of watches that don't fall apart when you buy them, and they still don't do too well. Parmigiani is a funny one because they've got a talented watchmaker who's gone through all of the steps that other talented watchmakers follow, primarily doing restoration for a number of years. So you have these things that it's often hard to to figure out, okay, well, what is it going to be that you can get a watch now that you can afford that's really a good watch, but if it's discovered, it's going to weird stuff is going to happen. One other thing, and this is in relationship to what Rick just said about he doesn't think the FPJ experience can be replicated. During this pandemic, I've noticed that watch prices in general have gone up. And I think, and I could be wrong, but this is what I think, is that people have money for watches that wouldn't be used in other things, such as gasoline, going out to restaurants, doing things like that. Because I know before this thing, every month I'd look at our MasterCard bill and there would be eating out. And, that's, that really jacks things up very quickly. And so I think that a lot of people say, well, I can get a watch now since I'm sitting here at home. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. You like the Armstrong Gravity Equal Force? Yeah, I like that one too, Wesley. That's a good watch. Okay. Yeah. We'll let you have it. The finish on FPJ movements is nice, but not superlative, not the level that other ultra luxury independents. Hey, Rex, how you doing? Witnessing my first live stream here. Welcome. FPJ explicitly said his watches are not about superfluous finishing, but rather chronometry and mechanical excellence. That I would believe. When you have a solid gold plates and bridges, it's sort of hard to I think that distracts from looking at the finishing somehow. But I think you're right when you say that, Geezer. I think you're absolutely right when he sees that as the most important aspect. Am I the only one to hate the crowns on FPJs? You may be. I like them just fine. Hey, Thomas, how you doing? That's another thing. I really like this lower hertz. Earlier today, we put a thing up on High Horology Lounge about I think it's called the Deadbeat Seconds or something like that. It's from Gronfeld, and it's 1 hertz. It's called a 1 hertz, as a matter of fact, but it's really 1 hertz and 3 hertz. And we were trying to figure it out, and we got a great reply from Bart Gronfeld. He helped us out on that, which I thought was sort of fun, because it was, here's this watch that has 2 different hertz rates, and I thought it was very cool. The resonance effect. Okay, Joseph. There are a lot of people that really there's not. I tell you what to do, Joseph. I find the resonance effect to be very, very true, and here's why. When you wind up a resonance watch, you really have 2 different watches within one, and there's a little thing you pop out and it synchronizes both the second hands. And 12 hours later, when those seconds are exactly synchronized, that's one thing. That's as an empirical observation. But there are some people that say, well, they don't see it. There are plenty of scientific papers, and in fact, there are a lot of demonstrations on the effect of resonance, but they're mainly with pendulums. And the way I look at a balance wheel is a type of pendulum because they do a semi-oscillation. They go around halfway and then they go the other way, except it's on a circular mechanical thing. So I don't have a great deal of doubts about that, and I've seen enough demonstrations. If there is a scientific paper, there is on resonance, but I don't know if there is on the resonance watch. So, Joseph, I'm hoping that you will write that paper. I'm busy. It seems like a lot of watchmakers have wealthy patrons, just like some in the art community. Of Essence of Time, yes, that is interesting. That's very interesting. Parmigiani is a great example. The Sandoz Family Foundation was the one that basically plucked out Michel Parmigiani out of they were having some restorations done. And Parmigiani had done some other things that were just amazing. And they said, okay, we're going to have a Parmigiani brand and you're going to be the watchmaker for it. I mean, you talk about a patron. That's like a patron saint. I don't think that F.P. Journe had a patron. A lot of them didn't, but they may have, F.P. Journe may have one now in the form of Thomas. They patronize watchmakers just like they patronize high. Blake. Oh man. Mark said that the video was a little goofy. Is it okay now? Because I was noticing it was some of seemed to clean itself up. Just checking. Every man needs a Gronfeld. Oh yeah, I think so. Hey, Paul O'Shea, how you doing, man? I'm missing. Who's missing your? Oh, Joseph. Oh, sorry, Joseph, and you guys are having still a bad connection. Doggone it. Huge barriers to entry for custom watchmakers in terms of equipment expertise. Yes, it's pausing. Doggone it. I wonder what happened. I turned off all of the other stuff trying to make it not do that. It's better now. Good. Thanks, Rick. Comes and goes. Make internet great again. Yeah. That's I don't want to get near anything near political. Oh God. So let's get some ideas from you. What we can look for. Yeah, Joseph, I agree. Rex Heppy is a good one. There are a lot of them. If you go to take a look at the AHCI list, there's a whole bunch of them there. Dornberth and Son. That they're very popular. I think they're relatively affordable. For some reason, I don't see them as brilliant watchmakers, but I see them as wonderfully competent watchmakers, and they have really interesting and very good finishing. Now, I could be wrong. Harbring gave a great presentation to the New York Horological Society on the challenges. Yeah, and he would know. He would know. I agree, Andrew. That's a good thing. By the way, too, I've been a member for a while now, and I've only been to one of their in-person meetings, but all of the other stuff they have is well worth the membership fees. And if I go to New York to one of the horology meetings, that means it's an overnight stay, and that can get expensive in New York City. So it's not just a matter of hopping on Metro North and going to the city and then coming home. It was be back by midnight or something. Geezer, what are you talking about? Bogus like residents. Okay, multi-year wait on Rex Heppy. Yeah, Yeah, I should have jumped on that 2 to 3 years ago. When I interviewed him as part of this group that I interviewed about their lower hertz rate, he was one of the guys I interviewed, and a really nice guy. And I'm glad to hear his stuff is really done well. Another guy, what's his name? David somebody who has been doing some watches. He has some interest. He's another guy I think that may go shooting up. Then we have a differentiate between a company that is run by one watchmaker and an independent watch company. Val, I don't know. That's what would be one. Well, you had something. Let me give you an example, which I think is not so much a bad example, but I think it's one of the tricky things. When let's see, I think it was Roger Dubuis had a partner who was a business guy, and his name was I can't remember his name, but he was a jerk. And so it was Roger. He has a lot of the weird names that have come with Roger Dubuis watches, where this guy's it was up to him. Do you know if a slow runner is available for purchase? Mark, I couldn't find one. I did look, by the way, today. And but the one that I really like is the one by it's sort of that the 3 hertz and 1 hertz Groenfeld. That one I think is really cool, and it's called the Groenfeld 1 hertz. Take a look at there's a discussion on it on High Horology today. You can find some discussion about that. Sort of cool to hear about this very young Japanese who makes all parts mostly by hand. He was on YouTube. Super interesting documentary. I know the Japanese, some of the independent Japanese are just fantastic. Jaime, I'll say it wrong. Jaime Heiji Ahsoka is one, of course, but there's some other ones too, and they may be some of the guys you want to take a look at. I think a few years ago, a guy when he bought his first Tsunami, they were $20,000 then. What I'm hoping for, some guy, he's I don't know, somehow figures out how to make a limited number of watches that not too many people are interested in, but they're really good watches and has a reasonable price. Now, in a way, that's exactly what Richard Harbring did, but of course, he didn't have any. People didn't. They still don't care for the fact that his finishing is, I think, more standard than anything else. 1 hertz is the sound of paint drying. Okay. Yeah, 4 hertz is the sound of beating a rented mule. So we can have those things. Let me see. I'll try to find an old stuff. John, what are you looking for? Okay. Anyway, what are some other ideas for what are some ideas on the where we can spot sort of ahead of time, where we can really, how do we really spot an affordable genius? Mark, the fair street price on Groenfeld on the one I know, I mean the list price is $73,000, and I don't know of one any less than that. But look around; it may show up. You never know. The documentary, okay, 1 hertz. Hi, Watch Lounge. How you doing? Okie doke. Well, let's have some more ideas from you. Okay, Konstantin Chaikin is only famous for his Joker watch, but is a great and underrated watchmaker. You know, Val, that may be true. It's funny. He did this. He did the whole Joker series of watches he's been doing. I think is going to solidify that reputation. But he has one that he did with oh, what's his name? The guy. Oh, I can't remember it. The guy, the guy who's probably best known for his erotic watches, but he's what is his name? Um, Sven Anderson. That's it. He did the watch with Sven Anderson. Sven Anderson is another guy who has some watches out there that are very affordable, and he's a guy. He's one of the watchmakers I would like to pick up one of his watches. One of the problems, at least for me, is that some of his early ones are these really interesting world timers, but they tend to be a little small and like 36, even 34 millimeters, and that's the only thing that's stopped me, I think, so far. His later ones are larger, but Finn Anderson is a guy. He was one of the founders of the AHCI. He and Calabrese were the two that founded it. Hey, James Con 11, maybe a place to call the Max Boost and ask him who are the up and comers. Maybe so. Hey, Blake. Oh boy, yeah. Hey, meet me down on 47th Street. There was a guy I got. Well, never mind. That's a story for that's not going to be recorded. Sven Anderson, Bill Clinton is a grill watch. That one isn't to me, but I like the stuff I like that he has done are the early world timers and some of the other ones. He was making it into erotica. I don't know what he was doing, but now there's sort of like this company, and it's called Sven Anderson something or other, and Sven got his start and was as famous because he made a watch in a bottle, like a ship in a bottle. He somehow made a watch in a bottle, and there was all of this play about that. And I think he's Danish, but I may be mistaken. How to spot a budding genius? Look for the creative artistic skills and creative engineering skills at the micro level. Also, look for pedigree. What school and watchmakers is he associated with? That's true. I mean it. Okay. This is a politics free zone. Please, everybody, either side, doesn't matter. Danish, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's Danish. Uh-oh. Okay. Sarah, that the timing thing was goofed up. Yeah, no politics, please. Good God, you can't. This is what we get on the news every night. We get a hurricane in Louisiana. We get any political story is scary, and we get the pandemic. I mean, those. God, we've got enough things that here we got nothing but watches. Okay. Yeah, Joseph, I think you trying to find all of those things is the real trick. Okay, and I think that's important. Blake, you're a budding genius. Well, you're budding. I'll say that. Oh, um, okay, guys. Well, listen. One last thing I wanted to. This is sort of banged up. Um, remember this, the jumping retrograde project. What I'd like you to do is that if you're in on this, go to that. Go to the jumping retrograde project Facebook page and Blake, Blake, you got, all right. What are some good watch schools to watch for possible upcoming geniuses? I don't know. What is it? WhatsApp or something like that. Um, I think that's the name of it. There's sort of a recognized international school. Mark, no porn, no politics, okay? Please. None of that. Okay, just watches today. I had on my earlier today, I had on my H Moser. Love that watch. And this one I got back from service. And when I get a new watch or one just back from service, I like to overwear it. I don't know if anybody says. Yeah, you're right. Rectum. Wrecked. Oh God. You're right. It's getting derailed. And our time is up anyway, so this is a good time to stop. And by the way, too, no, I know you're not, Mark. Tomorrow, who is it? Flippin' Zippo. Sometimes Flippin' Zippo comes to see us, but there's going to be a discussion tomorrow at 2:00 on Flippin' Zippo's channel. If any of you are interested. Anyway, take care, be safe, and don't think about politics. I think you'll be better off.